Right. Doing good. Oh,
Hey, what up, folks?
What up?
And as you know, Rob's doing good, and I sure hope you guys are doing good. Hey, guys, got to take a special guest today. If you don't know Jimmy Pera, you should.
Yeah.
Army, Ranger, Green Beret, getting ready to retire in July. Also, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, you were in Black Hawk Down and American Wrestler.
Yes, I was. I was a chalk leader on the Third Bird by the Olympic Hotel in the movie. Then they sent us from Fort Benning over there to film it with Ridley Scott. And the day before, we did 7 elevators where you go up and you slide down to practice coming down the rope, so all your timing's right for the next day. The next day, we roped in 7 times in one day to get that one scene done. And it was filmed in Rabat and Salih, Morocco. So we fast roped down. They had extras from Central Africa there playing the Somalis. And so we'd come down and then we get into, gunfights, but movie rifles and no real bullets, obviously. But when we did our first rope, it took 11 seconds to get everybody out of the 4 birds onto the ground. And they started timing it. They didn't tell us. By the time our 7th rope came down, we're close to or under 7 seconds.
Wow.
So get everybody out. Yeah. So
that's amazing.
Little birds that were flying in, the people that were playing the Delta operators were also Rangers. They were from our company. They just dressed them up differently. And this thing was a well-coordinated, dangerous event that played out well on the screen. So
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Boy, did it. That's cool. All right. So I know I'm kind of jumping, all over the place.
Yeah.
But we're going to have a little bit of fun here, and then we're going to get back into working with Ridley Scott as well. We like to ask you speed questions. Could be 5, it could be 10. We don't know yet because Rob's got the questions. So literally, we don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Yes.
You ready?
Ready.
Let's go.
All right, ready? What superpower would you not want?
Flying.
You wouldn't want to fly?
No.
Yet he's into helicopters and all the stuff. This is
I hate flying.
Hey, I get it. I get it.
You don't want to fly.
No, I hate flying.
Oh, this is such a Pera question.
Oh God, here it comes.
Does pineapple belong on pizza?
No.
Oh man.
Yes.
That's
nice.
My wife will disagree with me though. She'll disagree with me. She likes it. I don't.
Yeah. See.
Yeah, I'm the same way. No.
I like it in my vodka though.
You did vodka pineapple. See, did it?
I could go with a vodka pineapple or 7. Why not?
Yeah.
There you go.
Why do 1 when you can do 7?
Yeah. Or 8.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Interesting.
It's a hot dog.
What would you define a sandwich then?
If it was between bread, but until that, it's just a hot dog.
But so when you put it between the bread, it's a sandwich?
It's a hot dog.
Oh, he just said that it would be the moment you put it between the bread, right?
Yeah, before hot dog's a hot dog.
Okay, so the whole bread, whatever you put in it, the hot dog.
Just mustard.
But the
Mustard.
bread isn't broken up. It's together.
But that's a sandwich based on
it's not. Yeah, it's like yeah, it's
so
not
if
2
you break
pieces of
the
bread.
side thing and you have it like that, then it's a sandwich.
No.
Then how you just said
No.
It's not broken up.
I'm just saying no
So you-
because that's what I've said. No.
Oh God. Okay. Oh, this is a good one.
All right, here it goes.
This is kind of a softball, baseball player favorite of the Pera. What music would you choose to play every time you walk into a room?
Metallica.
Oh, do you have a specific song?
Black.
Black. All right.
Yeah, or Sinatra. One of the two. It's
I can see
Look at
Sinatra.
the change
I
over.
did it my way. God,
Then you hit
sorry,
the
I
upper
messed
deck.
it up.
We'll take it a little further. So every time you walk in the room to your bedroom with your wife laying there,
Whoa.
is it Metallica and Frank Sinatra still?
That's definitely Sinatra, not an
I love it. I love it. All right, last question. What do you usually think about while you're on the toilet?
harassing people on the internet, on Facebook,
Oh,
throwing it away.
he's working. He's
That's
working
right.
the thumb.
He's hustling. Oh, man.
It's your turn, brother man.
Oh, you're killing me today, you big jamoke. Anyway, so I kind of want to talk a little bit more about Ridley Scott. Your interactions with Ridley Scott, what were those like?
Well, on set there it was pretty neat because after there was the Olympic Hotel, like where the little birds land, the guy fast up and down. But inside there was a big ops set where they had all these TV screens and sound this and sound that. And he brought us in and explained what he was doing there. He was a really nice guy. The thing was, like a lot of these guys, and what's funny was Jerry Bruckheimer was walking around with the camera and nobody knew who he was. So one of our sergeants goes, "Oh, are you a photographer?" And he's like, "Yeah, I do that one." And then I would go, "Hey, that's Jerry Bruckheimer. That's the guy who runs the whole operation." And it was fun. I mean, Ridley Scott actually came out to a private screening for us at Fort Benning and explained to us how his father was in World War II, the British Army. I think he was intel, as a matter of fact. But then again, it was 20 years since the movie premiered. So we were at the Windsong Theater at Fort Benning. They brought all the guys that did the film, and we sat and had a pretty good time. Actually, we got in trouble when we were over there. Actually, we missed curfew. We were out with the guy that played Strucker. Brian Van Holt was his name, and he was at the time was dating this actress named Amanda Peet. And so he gets his flip phone out. He calls her. We're sitting at the Hilton bar.
Right.
I wasn't drinking. I'm not going to confirm or deny anybody else was either, because we did store statements. We're in parade rest in the hotel room as we got back, so we missed 10 o'clock curfew. Brian Van Holt calls. They didn't do anything wrong. We went to a Mexican restaurant in Morocco. We went to this Mexican place.
That's awesome.
Mexican food. It was good. And then we got back there, we got carried away just talking, it was me, this couple other sergeants. One of the sergeants' name was Landers. He actually fired a javelin at the Haditha Dam and blew up a mortar position with it. But he's a great ranger. I think he might be part owner of Three Rangers whiskey too. He's
Nice.
He's retired. But going back to the movie, we go back and we get told we were restricted to the hotel. We couldn't go anywhere. Like we got in trouble. We weren't allowed to drink. We weren't allowed to do anything. So, and anyways, I got back that Friday. Thought we were going to get in trouble coming back to Fort Benning. And I packed my bag on Saturday, and then I went to Special Forces selection. So I wasn't there for like 3 weeks. I was gone at Fort Bragg. So it kind of died down. I got back. Platoon sergeant was mad at me because I left. So, "Oh, you got this going on." And I go, "Well, I had orders to go to selection." So I got selected, and I came back, and then I moved platoons. And then after our deployment to Afghanistan, the invasion, I came back and went Special Forces. So
Nice. That's awesome.
I got one. That's got it. Is that a Bob Sinclair?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we'll go in there because that's cool.
So I know that Bob Sinclair is near and dear to your heart.
Bob, I met him on Memorial Day of 2011. We went to go see my buddy Christian Kilpatrick, which ironically, it's May 3rd. He was killed May 1st of 2004. About a week or so after Pat Tillman died in Afghanistan, he got killed in Kirkuk, Iraq. So every year I go on Memorial Day weekend, because we buried him mid-May, end of May. I go up there and visit him. I take him Jameson and stuff. I pour it, and we have Guinness and all that, So I go there with my wife, and then we decided, we're like, "Hey, we're gonna go to the Washoe House, or we're gonna go to McNear's, because in town here's a place called McNear's." And once around the world, you've seen American Graffiti, the movie American Graffiti. Remember when the police car got the bottom end pulled out of it, and there's a theater right there, and there's that's McNear's. That's Mystic Theater, and that's McNear's. So,
oh wow,
I go in there and sit down, and we're having a drink, and I see this tall guy come walking in. He looks over and, "How you doing, sir?" And he goes and sits down, and then a drink comes over, and the waitress goes, "The gentleman at the bar bought you a drink." And I turn around, I see him sitting at the end of the bar, and I said, "Thank you, sir." I go, "Can I ask you a question?" I go, "Are you Bob Sinclair?" And he goes, and then he came over, we started talking. His wife, Marcia, came over and got my wife, goes, "Come on, Lisa, let's go to the bar over here." So me and him were talking, and then all of a sudden he goes like this, he goes, you want a cigar? And I go, yeah, a cigar. So we went outside. We were smoking cigars. People were walking by looking weird, but the owner there's like, Bob, he can do what he wants. And then we became friends at that point. And uh, he was my witness at my wedding. His wife stood next to my wife. We got married at the courthouse. I was sitting in his car one day. We were smoking cigars outside Mears in his car, and he opened his trunk and he saw this jersey. I go, we should get that hung at my wife's cousin's bar across town. And he's like, you want it? And he pulls out a pen, signs it, and says, I go, I'll get this framed and put up on the wall. So they had, and I love Frank Gore, but they had Joe Montana and Steve Young. They took Frank Gore's picture down. They put this one up. And then my wife's cousin goes, if we ever sell the place, I'm giving this back to you. So when they ended up selling to another buddy of mine, a baseball player too, who played in the White Sox system, Jeff England, her cousin gave it back to me, and now it's up on my wall over here. And it's been here. Yeah. But he passed away in April of 2015. He broke his hip and passed away. And it was during the filming of the American Wrestler. That was going on. And so it was a sad time because he was such a great loved man by everybody around. Everybody knew Bob.
Yeah.
Now you played the winter coach in American Wrestler, and you and Ollie was the gentleman who wrote the movie, right?
Yeah, it was based loosely off his family coming to the United States in 79, 80. But like our wrestling, obviously I was in high school from like 91 and 94. So he was class of 91. He was a senior when I was a freshman. Yeah. And I started wrestling. That's where I met him. And we've been like brothers since. He's filming a couple movies right now up here. So the Christmas movies and stuff. So.
Oh God. Do you get to be in those?
If I give him a call, I'd be like, hey, can you put me in it? Yeah, sure. Come on. He always includes all his friends. That's the thing. He includes everybody.
Oh, that's cool.
It's all inclusive.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Where was this based out of? What high school?
Okay, this is the funny part.
Yeah.
Now, every school in the area was, I coached wrestling. So we rallied all the people. My wife did the casting for the teams, and I brought all the teams in, all the coaches. So those are all authentic wrestlers and coaches that we actually all coached and wrestled against each other throughout the years. And so I coached at Casa Grande here in Petaluma, which is the East Side High School.
Yep.
So I go in there and I talk to the administration, say, hey, do you guys are you interested in helping out with this movie? Since Ali's an alumni, I'm an alumni, I'm a coach here, but they didn't want anything to do with it. They totally ignored us. Petaluma High across town, our rival, was a part of it. So this is what we did. We filmed it over at Tamales High School outside of Petaluma, past the Coast Guard base over here. And Tamales was great. So we're sitting at this place on the east side of town, and we're like, we got to figure out a name. And I go with the guys. I look at Alex, who was the director. I go, and Ali looked. I go, name it East Petaluma High. What it is, East Petaluma High, but we'll call them the Braves, because Casa Grande's want to be it. We'll still say East Petaluma High, and we'll use their mascot in their school. So that's what happened, and it was a good experience. Like up the hill from Tamales High School is actually the Scream House. This guy Larry Peter that owns a creamery in town is Ali would always lease the houses when he did his filming. So like all the crew would stay at the Scream House and the little houses along the way down the road above the high school. So everybody was involved. It's weird. It was fun though.
So you retire in July.
Yeah.
What are your plans?
Keep a lid on it and just with all the stuff that's gone on over the years, you have to decompress and be responsible and not sit there and go swimming, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because it's just your first responder stuff, it builds, it all builds up and then boom, before you know it, you're on your back. Like, what's going on? No, to be honest with you, I've been to, I'm not ashamed of saying that last year I went to 3 rehabs for PTSD and alcohol. I'm not saying that I don't drink, because I do, but I just to keep a lid on it, a lot of my buddies that I served with, they have a lot of the same personality traits that I have. I guess it rubs off on Rangers and Green Berets and law enforcement, first responders. It's a demon you gotta fend off. So it was best place I went to. If anybody's out there that's listening, remember, there's a place I went to in Texas called Warrior's Heart, and it focuses on prior service, active duty, law enforcement, first responders. So when you're in there, You're with all sorts of people that have served before or are currently serving, or police or firefighters, whatever. It was a good group of people that were down there. And like I said, I got it in control, but it's a battle. It is every day.
No, you're right. Absolutely. Especially with some of the stuff you've seen. I mean, not just some, I should say a lot of the stuff you've seen.
There's a lot. Yeah. The invasion of Afghanistan wasn't that bad as far because it was a route, so I came back and went special forces. I went all different places around, and
Right.
Iraq was in the surge, that all over that city was the Wild West, and there was a lot of IEDs going off, a lot of gunfights, and luckily nobody from task force that I was in, Task Force Raptor over in I was attached to what at the time they were called Sith companies, and they were the direct action companies that each group had, and I got attached to A15 Alpha Company, 1st Battalion, 5th Special Forces out of Fort Campbell. And then when they left, the other guys came in from Stuttgart that were Charlie Company, 1st Battalion, 10th Special Forces. So I worked with them from October to June of that rotation. But it was just going at it. Bosra was kicking off. Solder City was the siege of Solder City was. I mean, you could Google that in even 60 minutes and done some in-depth reporting about the battles that happened there. Because from March until mid-May, it was a melee until Muqtada al-Sadr tapped out, and they called a ceasefire.
Yeah.
But
you've obviously seen a lot of places in action and stuff like that. Tell me about like the guys, right? When you're with the guys, like tell me some of your favorite moments just being with the guys. Like if you've got downtime, are you guys playing jokes on each other? Or is there what are the things that you're gonna miss or what you do miss that were wonderful?
I'll tell you, I miss the way it used to be. I don't really miss the way it is now, if that makes any sense. Because back in the Ranger Regiment, I grew up with these guys. They're like, we were 20 years old, 18 to 24. I mean, we grew up, it was like living in the barracks was probably the same as guys living in a dorm, but we were savages. We were always wrestling and choking each other out and have just a great time. Our platoon would be going out of here, and then we turn and we'd start choking out, or they start choking us at 1st platoon. And it was a great camaraderie that I still have. These guys are my friends from all over the country. Special forces, the teams, it's funny because, when you're a new guy in a team, SF guys are usually in their mid 30s to 40s. So when I showed up at like 25, 26, I was younger. But coming from Ranger Regiment, I had a little bit more experience. So I came in, it worked out well. But when we're having downtime, like I said, there's a lot of this, and there's smoking cigars and playing pranks on each other, and heaven forbid they find your weakness or you find their weakness, and you drill them all the time. So yeah, I'm gonna miss that. I'm gonna miss that a lot because it's a lot different. I mean, how it is, Chris. You guys play ball, and the camaraderie that you have with the people that you've always been with, the best at times, the worst at times, and things that you'll never forget. And it's one of those things. After 25 years, it's going to be hard to walk away. Even though I think it's time.
Definitely, I agree. That is going to be tough.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? What would you tell a young Jimmy? What advice would you give him?
Good question.
Don't change anything.
I like it.
Get the help early. Acknowledge your weaknesses earlier, because that's where maturity comes in. Acknowledge your weaknesses earlier and work on them from an earlier age, because you wake up, like I said, one day and you just get blasted in the head with reality.
Yeah.
But do everything the same, because I have no regrets. I wanted to be G.I. Joe when I was a little kid, and I thank God every day for it, because I got to be a Green Beret, and I got to be a Ranger, and I got to do the things that a lot of people I've seen that tried out, they fell out. They were not selected, or they went back this way. So I thank God every day, because not only I got to do it, but I lived. And when I'm sitting here, whining to myself about how things suck, I start thinking, wait a minute, you're alive. God gave you your life. Live your life. That's your reward. All the medals and coins and all that kind of stuff that are good to look at, but the most important award in life is your life. That's in your family.
Yeah.
True.
I've always wanted to ask this of somebody in the military, and I never have, but you know, there was a good time there, and hopefully it still is now, but you go into an airport or you see somebody in the military and you would be trying to find a way to thank them, right? There was a greatness about, hey, thank you for your service, that kind of stuff. From the military side, how was that received? How was it to hear that thank you? Or were there awkward ways that it happened, or were there great ways that it happened?
There's ways. Sometimes it's hey, thank you, you know, I appreciate it. And then there's other times it's kind of a little awkward, you know, because it's
Yeah.
like, you know, it was my job, you know. It's like I chose to do it, you know, and just like, you know, when you see police officers and first responders, I'm always very, you know, supportive of it. Obviously, as my dad was a cop too, right?
Yeah.
So I grew up in it. I don't know how to, I don't know what it, I don't know if people are just saying it to say it now, or some people actually mean it. I know there's a lot of people that genuinely do, and then
Yeah.
there's others that I believe that they have to say it, which they
Yeah.
don't. You know, and it's just, it's weird. It's just life. It's been anything, you know.
Yeah.
It's just
Right. What else you got?
I think
He's so impressive. I don't know what to ask.
I know. I'm like sitting here going, what other questions I have? You know, kind
Well,
of
actually, I can
push
show
the
you some-
balls a little bit.
I can show you some pictures too. Like I'll send it to you offline about when General Boss came and stayed at my house for 3 days and 3 nights. He was the commanding general of the Iraqi Emergency Response Division that liberated Mosul and 70 villages from ISIS. He kicked their ass all the way back into Syria, and wiped them out. And he came out here to testify for Navy SEAL named Eddie Gallagher down in Coronado for a alleged murder of an Al Qaeda operative, which he was exonerated for. But after it was over with, he called my old commander and said, "Hey, I want to come see the guys from Alpha Company." And then so Jesse, his name's Jesse Basher, Colonel, calls me and goes, "Jimmy, hey, General Boss is in the United States." And I go, "What for?" He goes, "Oh, he was testifying down at Coronado, but he wants to see the guys." I go, "Well, I'm the last one. There's nobody else. It's just me. Everybody else is out of the company now, or in the Four Winds, or somewhere else, or whatever." I go, so I called my wife and I said, "Look, I can get him a plane ticket to fly him from San Diego to Oakland, and I'm flying out of Los Alamitos, Long Beach to Oakland. We'll meet at the same time, and then we'll go to Petaluma." So I coordinated this thing, and then I called the sheriff's office here and the police department, and they did passing calls, so anyways, we land. I grabbed this general who wiped out ISIS, right? And we walk out and we get an Uber, and we're Ubering to Petaluma, like just driving north, and the driver doesn't know who this guy is.
No,
And he's from Afghanistan, and they're talking about the holy month of Eid and everything. But long story short, he came to the house. It was one of the best meetings I ever had.
Oh, wow.
And that he explained to me all sorts of things that were going on, how the political situations are there, so, you know, I took him. After 3 days, I took him to the airport, and he flew up to go see the colonel. But yeah, he's still over there. My other colonel, Colonel Utterback, told me that someday that guy might be the prime minister or the president of of Iraq. So I was like, well,
Wow.
it was nice having him here, you know. And he invited me and my wife to go to stay at his house in Babylon. So it's like, he goes, "Do you know where
Wow.
Babylon is?" I go, "Yeah, I know where Babylon is. It's kind of in the Bible." So like, yeah, but great man.
What
Nice
up?
meeting you. Yeah,
Pleasure to meet you.
Hey, you too.
take care.
What up, folks? Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Peace out.
Right on.